Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're traveling to northern England in the year 1842, to the heart of the Industrial Revolution. We're going to spend a day in a textile mill, following the life of a worker in one of those massive brick buildings that defined an era. Before we begin, take a moment to settle in, perhaps adjust your pillow, and let's step into a world of steam, cotton, and endless mechanical rhythm. Your name is Sarah Thornton, and you are 14 years old. You've been working at Blackwood Mill for 3 years now, since you were 11. This is normal. Most children in your town start working in the mills around age 10, sometimes younger. This is simply how life works. Your parents worked in mills. Your older siblings work in mills. Your younger siblings will work in mills when they're old enough. This is the world you were born into. It's 4 in the morning, and the knock on the door of your family's small terraced house wakes you. It's the knocker-up, an old man with a long pole who goes through the streets before dawn, tapping on windows to wake mill workers. There are no alarm clocks for people like you. The knocker-up is how you know it's time to rise. You share a bed with your 2 younger sisters in the single bedroom of your family's 2-room house. The house is one in a long row of identical brick terraces built by the mill owner to house his workers. Each house is tiny, a downstairs room serving as kitchen and living space, and an upstairs room for sleeping. Your family of 7 shares this space. Your parents and baby brother sleep downstairs. You and your 4 siblings sleep upstairs, 3 to a bed. The room is cold. It's October, and the house has no heating except for the small coal fire downstairs, which has been banked overnight and provides minimal warmth. You can see your breath in the dim pre-dawn light. You dress quickly in the darkness, pulling on your work clothes, a simple cotton dress, much mended, a rough wool shawl, and sturdy wooden clogs on your feet. Downstairs, your mother is already up, stirring the fire back to life. There's no time for a proper breakfast. She hands you a piece of bread and a cup of weak tea. You eat quickly, standing by the door. Your older brother James, who works in the weaving shed, is also eating his bread. Your father, who works as a spinner, is coughing, the harsh, wet cough that most mill workers develop after years of breathing cotton dust. Move quick, your mother says. Can't be late. She's right. The mill operates on strict time. The gates open at 5:30 in the morning. If you arrive even 1 minute late, you're locked out and lose a quarter day's pay. 2 lateness marks, and you can be dismissed entirely. The mill owners don't tolerate tardiness. You step out into the dark street. It's still pitch black, though the sky is just beginning to lighten in the east. The street is full of workers, all heading in the same direction, toward the mill. Hundreds of people, maybe thousands across the town, all walking through the dark toward the massive brick buildings that dominate the town's skyline. You can already hear the mill, even from a distance, even before you can see it. You can hear the rhythmic thump and clatter of the machinery. The mill never truly stops. It runs 23 hours a day, shutting down only briefly for maintenance. As one shift ends, another begins. The machines must keep running. That's what the owners care about. Idle machines mean lost profit. As you get closer, the mill looms before you. It's enormous, a 5-story brick building, perhaps 300 feet long, with tall windows and a massive chimney belching black smoke into the pre-dawn sky. The building thrums with mechanical energy. You can feel the vibration through the ground as you approach. The gates are open and workers are streaming through. There's a timekeeper at the gate, watching everyone, noting who arrives and when. You file through with the crowd, keeping your head down. The factory yard is chaos. Hundreds of workers all heading to different sections of the mill. The spinning rooms, the weaving sheds, the carding rooms, the picking rooms. Each section of the mill handles different parts of the textile production process. You work in the spinning room on the 3rd floor. You climb the stairs with a stream of other workers, mostly women and girls, like yourself. The stairs are narrow and worn, and you have to be careful not to trip in the dim light. The building smells of cotton, machine oil, and coal smoke. It's a smell you know so well, you barely notice it anymore. The spinning room is massive, a long space filled with rows upon rows of spinning machinery. Each machine is called a mule, a complex device with hundreds of spindles that twist cotton fibers into thread. The room is already operational, the machines running, the spindles spinning. Your shift is taking over from the night shift, which has been working since 10 p.m. Your job is as a piecer, one of the most common positions for children and young people in the mill. When a thread breaks on one of the spinning machines, which happens constantly, you must quickly find the broken end, reconnect it, and restart the spindle. It requires quick hands, sharp eyes, and constant attention. The machines never stop moving, and you must work around the moving parts, reaching into the machinery to tie the broken threads. It's dangerous work. Every experienced mill worker is missing fingers or has scars on their hands and arms from being caught in the machinery. You've been lucky so far. You still have all your fingers, though you've had several close calls. One girl you know, Martha, lost 3 fingers last year when her hand was caught in a spinning mule. She was sent home without pay and hasn't been able to find work since. Can't piece threads with a mangled hand. The overseer, Mr. Grimshaw, is already in the room, walking between the machines, watching. He's a hard man, quick to shout and quicker to use his strap. All the children fear him. His job is to keep production moving, to make sure workers are constantly busy, to maintain discipline. He carries a leather strap at his belt, and he's not reluctant to use it on workers who are too slow or make mistakes. You take your position at your assigned mule. There are perhaps 20 other pieces working in this room, spread along the rows of machinery. The noise is overwhelming. The machines clatter and thump in a deafening rhythm. There's no possibility of conversation. The noise is so loud that workers develop their own sign language to communicate over the din. Your work begins immediately. A thread breaks. You spot it, move quickly to the machine, find the broken ends, twist them together with practiced fingers, and restart the spindle. All of this in perhaps 10 seconds. The mule continues its cycle, moving back and forth on its rails, the spindle spinning. Another thread breaks. You move to it, fix it, another, and another. The work is constant. The threads break randomly, and you must be constantly alert, constantly watching, constantly ready to move. You work barefoot. The clogs you wore on the walk here are left at the door. Barefoot is safer around the machinery, less likely to slip, easier to feel the floor beneath you. The room is already warm from the machinery and will only get hotter as the day progresses. The temperature must be kept high. Cotton fibers work better in heat and humidity. The windows are kept mostly closed to maintain the temperature. By midday, The room will be stifling, the air thick with cotton dust. You've been working perhaps an hour when you have your first accident of the day. Reaching into the machinery to fix a broken thread, your hand slips and a moving part catches your knuckle. It's not serious, just a scrape that draws blood, but it hurts. You pull back, suck the wound for a moment to clean it, then wrap it quickly with a bit of rag you keep in your pocket. There's no time to properly treat it. You must keep working. Mr. Grimshaw has noticed your pause. He shouts something. You can't hear the words over the machine noise, but the meaning is clear. Keep working. Don't slow down. You nod and return to your task, the scraped knuckle throbbing. Time passes in a strange way in the mill. The constant noise, the repetitive nature of the work, the lack of windows or natural light, it all creates a kind of timelessness. You lose track of hours. All you know is the work. Fix the thread. Move to the next break. Fix that thread. Move again. Over and over and over. Your legs ache from standing. Your feet hurt from walking barefoot on the hard floor. Your eyes strain from constantly watching the moving machinery. Your hands are developing the permanent calluses that all mill workers have. Your head pounds from the noise and the heat and the cotton dust in the air. Finally, blessedly, the bell rings for breakfast. It's 8 a.m. You've been working for 2.5 hours. The machines don't stop, but workers are allowed a half-hour break to eat. You file down the stairs with the other pieces out into the factory yard. The yard is chaos during breaks, filled with workers from all the different rooms. Some sit on the ground, too tired to stand. Others huddle in small groups, talking. The morning is lighter now, though the sun hasn't yet risen above the buildings. The air outside, even polluted with factory smoke, tastes clean after the thick, dust-laden air of the spinning room. You have no food. Your family couldn't afford to give you anything to bring. Some workers have brought bread or cold porridge, and you watch them eat with envy. There's a man who comes around the mills selling bread and tea, but his prices are high. A penny for a piece of bread, another penny for a cup of tea. You have no pennies. Your wages, when you receive them at the end of the week, go directly to your family. You never see the money yourself. Instead, you drink from the pump in the yard. The water isn't clean. Nothing in this town is clean, but it's wet and helps fill your stomach. You splash some water on your face, washing away some of the cotton dust that has accumulated on your skin. The half hour passes too quickly. The bell rings, and it's back to work. The stairs again, the spinning room again, the machines again, your position, the noise, the heat, the constant watching, the constant fixing of broken threads. The morning wears on. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. The room grows hotter. Sweat runs down your face, soaking into your dress. The cotton dust in the air sticks to your damp skin. You cough, and the cough brings up grey phlegm. This is normal. All mill workers cough like this. 11 o'clock. Your stomach is cramping with hunger. You had only that small piece of bread at 4 a.m., nothing since. The water you drank at breakfast hasn't helped. You feel lightheaded, but there's nothing to be done. You must keep working. 12 o'clock. The dinner bell finally rings. Another half-hour break. You practically run down the stairs, desperate to get outside, to have a moment away from the noise and heat. In the yard, you drink more water from the pump. Some workers have brought dinner and are eating. The smell of food makes your hunger worse. A girl you know slightly, Anne, is sitting nearby, eating bread and cheese. She sees you watching and, with casual kindness, breaks off a piece of bread and offers it to you. You take it gratefully, eating it slowly to make it last. It's just a small piece, but it helps. The kindness brings tears to your eyes, though you blink them away quickly. Crying is weakness, and weakness isn't tolerated here. During dinner break, there's a commotion. A girl has been hurt in the weaving shed. Her hair was caught in the machinery and ripped from her scalp. You can hear her screaming, see people running. The factory doctor is called. Not a real doctor, just a man with some medical knowledge who treats workers for a fee. The girl is carried away, still screaming. You shudder, unconsciously reaching up to touch your own hair. You keep it tied back tightly, covered with a cap, but accidents happen. The machines don't care. They never stop moving, and they're not designed with worker safety in mind. They're designed to produce thread and cloth as efficiently as possible. If workers are injured in the process, well, there are always more workers. The bell rings. Back to work. The afternoon is the hardest part of the day. You're tired, hungry, and the heat is at its worst. The windows are now completely closed to maintain the humidity, and the room feels like an oven. Some of the younger children are wilting visibly. One small boy, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, has slumped against a machine. Mr. Grimshaw sees him and shouts, striking him with the strap. The boy jerks upright, crying, and returns to work. You keep working mechanically. Fix the thread. Move to the next break. Fix that thread. Your mind starts to wander, and this is dangerous. You must stay alert. A moment of inattention can mean a hand caught in machinery, fingers crushed or torn off. You shake your head, trying to stay focused. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. The afternoon crawls past. Your whole body aches. Your vision blurs from fatigue and dust. The noise has become so constant that you've almost stopped hearing it. It's just a deafening wall of sound that you exist within. 4 o'clock. You've been working for over 10 hours with only an hour of breaks total. Your legs are trembling from standing. Your hands are clumsy from fatigue. And you've made several mistakes, dropping threads, misty connections. Each time, Mr. Grimshaw appears, shouting, his strap raised threateningly. You work faster, trying to avoid his anger. 5 o'clock. The bell rings for a brief tea break. 15 minutes. You stumble down the stairs, barely able to walk. In the yard, you collapse on the ground, too tired to stay standing. You're not alone. Dozens of workers are sitting or lying on the ground, utterly exhausted. You drink more water, wishing desperately it was tea or milk or anything with sustenance. Your stomach has moved past hunger into a kind of hollow emptiness. You can't remember what it feels like to not be hungry. The quarter hour passes. The bell rings. You force yourself to your feet and climb the stairs again. Your legs are so weak, you have to pull yourself up using the handrail. Back to the spinning room. Back to the machines. Back to the noise and heat and dust. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The light through the high windows is fading. Gas lamps are lit in the factory, casting harsh yellow light across the room. The shadows make the machinery look even more threatening. All moving parts and grinding gears. 8 o'clock. You can barely keep your eyes open. You're functioning on pure routine now, your body moving automatically through the motions of the work, while your mind drifts in an exhausted haze. You've been working for 14 and a half hours with only an hour and 15 minutes of breaks. This is a normal day. Every day is like this. 6 days a week. The only day off is Sunday, and even then, you are expected to attend church and help your mother with housework. Finally, blessedly, the bell rings for the end of the day shift. It's 8:30 p.m. You've been at the mill for 15 hours. The machines keep running. The night shift is already arriving. Workers who will work through the night until 10 a.m. tomorrow. But your shift is done. You collect your clogs and put them on your sore, dirty feet. You follow the stream of workers out of the building, down the stairs, through the gates. The night air is cold after the heat of the spinning room, and you're soaked with sweat. You shiver as the cold air hits your damp clothes. The walk home is a blur. You're so tired you can barely lift your feet. Your whole body aches. Your head throbs. Your throat is raw from breathing dust all day. Your hands are cramped into claws from the repetitive motion of tying threads. The streets are dark except for occasional gas lamps. Groups of workers shuffle through the darkness like ghosts, all heading home after their shifts. No one talks. Everyone is too tired. Finally, you reach your house. Your mother is there, with food. A thin soup made from potato peelings and scraps, with a piece of bread. It's not much, but after working all day with almost nothing to eat, it feels like a feast. You eat hungrily, barely tasting the food. Your father and brother are there too, also just home from their shifts. Your father's cough is worse tonight. He hacks and wheezes, bringing up blood-tinged phlegm. Your mother looks at him with worry, but there's nothing to be done. Doctors cost money, and your family has none to spare. He'll continue working until he physically can't anymore. After eating, there's nothing left but sleep. You climb the stairs to the bedroom, strip off your filthy work dress, and collapse into bed beside your sisters. You're asleep almost instantly, too exhausted even to dream. 4 hours later, the knocker-up will rap on the window. You'll wake in the darkness, dress in the cold, eat a piece of bread, and walk to the mill. The gates will open at 5:30. You'll climb the stairs to the spinning room. The machines will be running. You'll take your position and begin fixing broken threads. Again, the same as today, the same as yesterday, the same as tomorrow. This is your life. This is what it means to be a child worker in a Victorian textile mill in 1842. 15-hour days of dangerous, repetitive work in harsh conditions for wages so low, your family still lives on the edge of starvation. No schooling, no childhood, no prospects of anything better. Just work, exhaustion, work again. The months pass in this way. Winter comes, and the walk to work becomes a frozen misery. The mill is at least warm, though the warmth is oppressive. Spring comes, then summer. The hot months are worst. The spinning room becomes unbearable, with temperatures reaching over 100 degrees. Workers collapse from heat exhaustion. Some die, replaced by new workers within days. You grow older, 15, 16. Your body is wearing out from the work. Your spine is curved from years of bending over machinery. Your hands are scarred and permanently stained. Your lungs are damaged from breathing cotton dust. You cough constantly, especially at night. Your teeth are rotting. Poor nutrition and no dental care take their toll. Other young workers around you are suffering too. Some develop terrible deformities, twisted spines, bowed legs, from working during their growing years. Some die young from accidents or disease. Tuberculosis is common, spread easily in the close, dusty conditions of the mill. Typhoid sweeps through the workers' terraces regularly, killing dozens. By the time you're 17, you're considered an adult worker and moved to a different position, a spinner, operating your own mule. The work is even harder, even more demanding, but the pay is slightly better. Still not enough to live on, but slightly better. You continue working. What choice do you have? There are no other opportunities for someone like you. The mill is the only employer in town. To leave would mean starvation. So you stay, day after day, year after year, your health slowly deteriorating, your youth ground away by the machines. You're 20 when you marry Thomas, another mill worker. The marriage is practical rather than romantic. Two workers can afford better lodgings than one. You continue working at the mill even after marriage, even through 2 pregnancies. You work until your labor pains start, then return to work within days of giving birth. You must. Your family needs the income. Your children, when they're old enough, will work in the mills too. There's no other future for them. The cycle continues, generation after generation. Workers born and raised to feed the machines, to produce thread and cloth that makes the factory owners wealthy, while the workers themselves live in poverty. This is the Industrial Revolution, from the inside, from the perspective of those who actually operated the machines that transformed the world. Not a glorious march of progress, but a grinding daily struggle for survival. Innovation and wealth built on the broken bodies of workers, many of them children. The mills ran for decades like this. It wasn't until reformers began documenting the conditions and pushing for change that things slowly improved. Factory acts were passed, limiting child labor, reducing work hours, improving safety. But these changes came slowly, fought against fiercely by factory owners who saw regulation as interference with profit. By the time conditions improved significantly, you're in your 40s, worn out and used up by decades of mill work. Your lungs are so damaged you can barely breathe. Your body is crooked from years of poor posture and repetitive motion. You're old before your time, looking 60 though you're barely 45. You don't live to see much improvement. The lung disease that's plagued you for years finally wins. One winter, a cold settles in your chest and never leaves. You grow weaker. You can no longer work. Without your wages, your family struggles even more. You become a burden, unable to contribute, taking resources the family can barely spare. One cold February morning, you don't wake up. Sarah Thornton, mill worker for 31 years, dies quietly in her sleep. You're 46 years old, but your body is that of someone much older, worn out from decades of brutal labor. Your funeral is brief. A cheap coffin, a quick service, burial in the paupers section of the cemetery. Your family returns to work the same day. They can't afford to miss shifts. Your position in the mill is filled within a week. You leave behind little. No wealth, no property, no legacy except your children, who will live similar lives, working in the same mills that killed you. Your name will be forgotten within a generation. There's no monument to workers like you, no recognition of the sacrifices made. But the cloth you helped produce, it went around the world. It made fortunes for factory owners. It fueled the British Empire's economic dominance. The Industrial Revolution transformed civilization, and it was built on the labor of millions like you, workers whose names are lost, whose stories are forgotten, but whose labor literally built the modern world. This is the hidden history of industrialization. behind every statistical triumph, every graph showing economic growth, every celebration of innovation, there were real people working impossible hours in dangerous conditions for inadequate pay. Progress has always had a human cost, and that cost was usually paid by those least able to afford it. The mills still stand, many of them. They've been converted to museums, apartments, shopping centres. Visitors walk through them and marvel at the machinery, the engineering, the scale of industrial ambition. But few think about what it was like to work there, day after day, year after year, when these were functioning factories and the machinery was running full speed. The rhythmic thump and clatter of the spinning mules, the thick, dust-laden air, the oppressive heat, the deafening noise, the constant danger, the exhaustion that went down to your bones, the hunger that never quite went away, the slow degradation of your health and body. That was the real experience of the Industrial Revolution for most people who lived through it. So tonight, as you drift off to sleep in your comfortable bed, in your climate-controlled room, remember Sarah Thornton and the millions like her. Remember that the comfortable modern world was built on foundations of human suffering. Remember that progress comes with costs that are often invisible to those who benefit from it. And perhaps, as you sleep, spare a thought for all those who labor still in difficult conditions, who work long hours for low pay, whose stories are rarely told, whose contributions are rarely acknowledged. The faces change, the locations shift, but the pattern remains. Civilization has always been built on the backs of those who do the hard, unglamorous work that makes everything else possible. Rest now. The machines have stopped. The shift is over. Sleep and be grateful for the distance between then and now, while remembering those who weren't so fortunate. Good night.